Whoa, that's a lot of love. And I again forgot my water bottle. Oh, thank you for that, Heather, and all that excitement. Guys, I'll be right back. I need to get my water because I know someone's gonna ask about it. Someone's gonna ask for it. Man, you think I'd set the... See, I knew it. Knew someone was gonna ask for it, and now we're getting all set up. And thank you, yes, for more of that hydration and all the encouragement, guys. Here, wow. Not only are we hydrated, we are also getting some friendly love and support here with some Eyes Up Guardian.
Eyes Up Guardian.
Throwing all that love, goodness. Guys, you are on it. Oh, man. There it is again. Eyes Up Guardian.
Eyes Up Guardian.
Good grief. What loving for that. Oh. Guys, it has been a weekend. It has been a crazy time. And, man, oh, wow. Even the stretch. Goodness. Promise, I'm trying to... I'm trying to get at the stream, at this episode, and you guys just keep on throwing different things at me. I don't know how I'm going to handle. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. It's all good. Yeah. Ooh. And yes, thank you, Heather. Nuggets is at school, so I don't know why I even get yelled at for that. But, you know, it's a button there. We got it. It's good. To answer Wally's question of how you doing, Mike. In all honesty, I really haven't felt like I've had a whole lot of time to register. And those of you who are listening or maybe are popping in and you're like, what do you mean? What's going on? What happened? This weekend was my dad's funeral. And I'll say a couple of things and then we'll get to the study. Well, actually, then I'll remind you of the goodness that is Walked to Mordor, and then we'll study, promise. It was bigger than I anticipated, first off. Like the church, I think we had potential for occupancy of like 300. We definitely filled that. It was crazy. But it's just nuts how many people knew my dad and like the legacy that he left. And that's actually the thing that I brought up in eulogy that I shared online, or shared in person at the funeral. He just had a massive legacy of a person who loved God and really loved people. And that was really cool to be able to see like all these people come around and show love and care for our family. Yeah, it was good. It was awesome to be able to see that. It's still fresh. I haven't fully registered it because I've just been so busy with things. There's just been things going on, but it's slowly hitting more and more, and I feel like I'm getting more and more fatigued, which is kind of irritating. Because what typically I just have the energy to go has been kind of wiping me out. So if you guys could be praying for that. And still going over the process of mourning. Like, instead of my usual Viking style mug, I use now my dad's Superman mug that I got him when he turned 60 in college. And it's just kind of crazy. Thank you guys for throwing the prayer support. I really do. I really appreciate that. But yeah, we're just keeping on going and just trusting and going on it and stuff like that. Yeah, Heather, this isn't a typical time. You're allowed to rest and take time. Grace on top of grace. Remember, he is strong when you are weak, and that includes for your family. 100%, right? Like, 100%. I have no doubt, but there is stuff that needs to be worked on. And that part of that is Walk to Mordor. We've got 25 participants this year. That is 3 more than our previous year, which is really cool. Not quite the 50 that we were looking for, but you know what? God works with that number, right? And so this is where I'm holding on to, trusting that we're going to be able to work together, that there's going to be awesome results that come out of this. Really in the factor that, like, if we even reached $400 individually, okay? So, like, if we raised $400 each, that would get us to our goal. Because we're at 25 people, and our goal is 50 people. And the 50 people, we were looking at 200 to get to our goal. If we get 400 individually, we're going to make this goal. So, it's not impossible. We can do this. Holy schnickerdoodle. That's a lot of subscriptions, Solomon. Wow. Like, I think that's our biggest... Guys, Solomon just threw down 33 subscriptions. That's 33 people being blessed like crazy. Whoo! And then, on top of that, Heather has rewarded a banana. I do not have a banana. I don't have a banana. What if I have gum? Would that be fine, guys? Can we substitute banana with gum now? Wait. What was Solomon's goal? Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Guys, Solomon unlocked it. If you guys are wondering what on earth is going on, so Solomon had a goal. We were supposed to get at 175 to get my beard colored green. Oh my goodness. And now he's at 187 subs that have been loved on. Oh boy. Guys, you're going to start seeing a green bearded Mike, which is interesting because how is that going to work with all this darkness? Like, I get that I'm getting some white hairs, or I'd like to say some salt in my pepper. I don't think I've got enough salt to make that pop. Bleach the beard? Heather, how dare you? Oh my goodness. Okay, back to what we were talking about, because, like, legit, the people who are listening on podcast, they're just like, man, I just want to get into the word. All right, reminder. So Walk to Mordor. If you didn't sign up as a hero, that's okay. If you didn't sign up as a hero, you can still be a hero. For a nerdy crew like the crew that are on here and wanting to make sure I have a green beard, you can sponsor a walker. And we got a few of them, okay? Like Nuggets is one of them. Wally is one of them. Fireball is another one of them. We've got Tom, that's another one of them. Me, there's Hoff. Holy snap. Like, there's a lot of peeps that you know through our streams, through our different connections, that are just there and amped and stuff like that. And I love, Heather, that's a fantastic question. When is the deadline for giving? So typically we like to have it where if you pledge, you're going to be pledging right at the end of April, but technically you can continue to pledge past that. In fact, you can just support us and be a monthly partner, and that way you just keep on giving the love and stuff like that. Not that I'm trying to be like horribly, hey, you can totally support us and keep on throwing money at us. You can, it would be appreciated, but it's not, we're not demanding that. But deadline, at least for Walk to Mordor, what's getting counted into Walk to Mordor, we're trying to say that really the last day of April, which would be the 30th is, this is a good connection for all y'all. It's Wednesday. Thank you, Google. Thank you, Apple Calendar, for making that very easy. Oh no. There's too much chatter going on here. They're all getting excited. Give us money. Then, of course, Solomon, give us money, you say. Sorry, I could go in my Gru laugh, but we're not going to do that. So, yeah, you can support us, support a walker. I listed a whole bunch of people there on who are participating, and I know Solomon's even been walking. He's been throwing that in, like, the dude's facing chemo. Like, guys, if anyone deserves a medal, it's really Solomon, because he's, like, walking while dealing with chemo. This is nuts. And, like, that's, brain, explosion. Solomon, you just keep blowing my brainstem. It's nuts. But, yeah, so you can support us at qyu.ca/walk-to-Mordor, and there you can click on the tab that says pledge your support, and there you can put it in, and you can put in any of those names I mentioned. So I'm going to say it one more time. We've got me, Mike Wilson. Hello. Nice to meet you. We have Nuggets, a.k.a. Caleb Boonstra. We have Tom, a.k.a. Seth Pierce. We have Gideon, a.k.a. Wally, or Wally, a.k.a. Gideon. Hoff, a.k.a. Alex Hofftizer. There's someone in there. Fireball, a.k.a. Ben Snyder. So there you go. You can do some loving. You can do some loving, guys. There's a few names, just that. And, like, again, that's 5 out of 25. And please, feel free to support the love and goodness. Wally is Gideon. Yes, it's all connecting. all the threads. I feel like, that secret guy that's plotting and putting all the tabs on the wall and realizing who's who. I'm sure your viewers and you listeners are now like, now I know things. Now I can know more random pieces of information. So that was a blessing for you guys. Oh, shoot. Okay. I don't do punishment wheels on this stream. Nice try there. Nice try, whoever activated that. Redeemed punish wheel. Who did it? It's not happening. So, Jesus bore our punishment. Yes! Heather! Oh, good line, good line. Anywho, guys, you know what time it is. Time to chew on some steaky goodness of the Bible. So, grab your Bibles. We're going to flip them open in Psalms. Yeah, and we are at Psalm 75. We are at halfway there. Oh! Wow. People really want a punishment wheel. Okay, I don't have the wheel spinny thingy. So, like, I'll think of something, okay? End of the stream, I'll think of a punishment. And those of you who are listening, maybe I'll have to recite things in Shakespeare. Yeah, we'll do the Shakespeare thing. We'll do that. I hear nothing but good things about you. I have no idea what you mean there, Wally, but I'm confused. Alright, so Psalm. That's right. Flip it open. Psalm 75. The halfway there. Okay, I really gotta stop that. It's really, really painful. See? Bible. Flip it. Do it. Live it. Yeah. Yes, Heather. Whoa! Living on a prayer. Yeah. Except virtually, just take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Oh! I'm sorry if you have dogs in the room that just registered that tone. I'm sorry. They are now barking. Psalm 75. For the choir director, a psalm of Asaph. A song to be sung to the tune Do Not Destroy. This is like the third or fourth time we've heard the Do Not Destroy tone. So if you guys can find that, throw it at us. I'm curious. All right. Let's chew on this word together. Sorry that it's taken us this long. We thank you, O God. We give thanks because you are near. People everywhere tell of your wonderful deeds. God says, at the time I've planned, I will bring justice against the wicked. When the earth quakes and its people live in turmoil, I am the one who keeps its foundations firm. Ooh. I warn the proud, stop your boasting. I told the wicked, don't raise your fists. Don't raise your fists in defiance at the heavens, or speak with such arrogance. For no one on earth, from east or west, or even from the wilderness, should raise a defiant fist. It is God alone who judges. He decides who will rise and who will fall. For the Lord holds a cup in his hand that is full of foaming wine mixed with spices. Ooh. He pours out the wine in judgment, and all the wicked must drink it, draining it to the dregs. But as for me, I will always proclaim what God has done. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. For God says, I will break the strength of the wicked, but I will increase the power of the godly. Whoo! Jinkies. Man. Guys, that's getting a little intense here in Psalm 75. Of course, this kind of makes sense. Like, we're throwing down that this is kind of like a psalm of judgment. This is like where God shows up and goes, all right, we're done with that silliness. I'm dealing with it right here, right now. Done. So, let's go back and enjoy the steak further, guys. Let's chew on it some more here. Let's ruminate, as it were. So we thank you, O God. We give thanks because you are near. People everywhere tell of your wonderful deeds. This seems somewhat counterintuitive to the previous psalm that we had in Psalm 74. And if you want a reminder on that, please flip back to Psalm 74. We did some chewing on it, where Asaph is feeling rejected. He is feeling like he's been pushed out, that, like, you know, when is God going to show up? When is he going to get things done? Because there's so many bad things going on. It just seems like the world has gone to chaos again, in very chaotic style language. And he's able to understand that, you know, God is the one who restores order from chaos. But it just felt like there wasn't anything going on. And so, like, particularly, if we're thinking back, Psalm 74, verse 20 and 21, it's this call out of, like, remember your covenant promises. For the land is full of darkness and violence. Don't let the downtrodden be humiliated again. Instead, let the poor and needy praise your name. The call-out reminder of, God, you're faithful and true, right? We can rely on you. We can have faith that you are the one who's going to take care of this. You're going to meet this need. And we can rely on that. We need you to show up. But right now, things seem dark. And this psalm, however, is starting off with, like, we thank you because you are near. So this like perspective has shifted from feeling like God's so far away, God is forgetting us, he doesn't even seem to be looking at us or caring about us, to now, no, God, you are right here. You are seeing what's going on. And people everywhere tell of your wonderful deeds. It's like people all of a sudden have a reminder of, like, oh snap, God's here. Ooh, like, we don't mess with God. We don't fight with him. Like, we don't go, because he'll take us out, right? Like, you know, it's just that vibe of, like, don't mess with God. And remembering what he has done. So this is going back to, like, just like reminders of the covenant, reminders of the rescuing of Israel through Egypt, throughout the desert. It's kind of crazy. He always has perfect timing too, Heather is throwing down. He stretches us to see us grow, and then the last second, bam, shows up and shows off. Right? So many times God shows up and does so many miraculous things, but he does it on his own. It's through his power and his might. Because if it were us doing it, we could boast, right? We could be like, well, like, you know, God could do that without us, you know, kind of stuff like that. I think back to, I'm trying to remember which king it was, but I believe it was in Kings or Chronicles where it was read on this, that when a king heard that there was war coming up, he put the priests at the front, and he, this is Joshua kind of vibe too, like the priests enter into the Jordan and create that separation, and that's a whole other thing going on for Exodus vibes and stuff like that. But for what was going on though with this king was he put the praise team right up front, and you'd be like, dude, that's going to be a massacre. They don't have any weapons, and all they do is sing, and God shows up and wrecks the army in front of them. Like they don't even have a chance. They just like take it out. Yeah, worship is a weapon, right? It's kind of nuts. And just the trust, the reliance on God showing up and knowing his character, knowing who he is, stepping into the moment of chaos and going, well, no, God's the one who's going to bring order to this. We are trusting in him. We can do nothing without him. We're just going to step out on that. And that seems so appropriate for this kind of psalm, right? Because here we have this psalm bringing up that after this reflection, God mentions something, right? God's the one throwing down something here. God says, at the time I have planned, I will bring justice against the wicked. When I choose to get the job done, it's not gonna be a good time for you. When the earth quakes and its people live in turmoil, I'm the one who keeps the foundation firm. Even when creation itself, when things that should give us peace and we should be able to have rest and stuff like that, in the midst of all that, God's the one who's like, no. No, the things that you would see as trustworthy, they're not trustworthy, unlike me. Even the very earth that you stand on is not trustworthy. I am the one that's going to hold you together. I'm the one who's going to make sure things are set right, set straight, right? He's the one who's going to recorrect any things that were crooked or messed up or broken. And when people live in turmoil, when we feel like there's just no sense of up or down, no sure footing, physically or like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you name it, he's the one who's saying, I'm the one who keeps things firm. You just keep your eye on me. You keep your focus on me, and where you will stand will be firm footing because I am there with you. I show up and bring order, right? And we've brought this up different times, but like I look at Jesus in the midst of like him sleeping in the middle of the storm, right? All these seamen that are like used to fishing and stuff like that, they are freaking out at this ginormous storm that has hit the Sea of Galilee. They are freaking out legitimately because they know what storms are like, and they're like, dude, Jesus is like totally chill and he's just hanging out in the boat. He's asleep. And they are freaking out like, dude, don't you even care that we're going to die? Like, what are you doing? And it's almost like Jesus got annoyed awoken up. Like, you know that vibe when you were like right in a good sleep, someone jostles you and you're like, what? Okay, fine. All right. Like, I could vibe that's like that could have been what Jesus was feeling. I don't know. It's not like a certain bit of scripture said, and Jesus was annoyed awaked, and then this is, but I could see that he's just like, wait, you woke me up because of this like ridiculous storm? Yeah, Heather put it down. You woke me up for this? So then he just like gets up and he's telling the waves and the wind, yo, Cut it out. Like, be still. And it's just like, whoosh. And I'm sure in that moment they would have thought of Psalm 46 verse 10, right? Be still and know that I am God, right? Yeah, they're throwing down these humans. Oh, like, legit. How do you not go from reading Psalm 46 verse 10, which is be still and know that I am God, and then you see this Jesus dude who literally just tells what feels like the very moment of chaos, it's just like, yo, be still. Which, by the way, Psalm 46 is all about how God creates order in the midst of chaos, whether it's natural or world climate and leadership kind of stuff like that. Like, he just, like, does it. Like, Heather's thrown down. Come on, guys, death is a reward. Right, but they wouldn't know that yet, and that's before the resurrection, right? So, like, and really, majority of those disciples really did experience that reward, that death is reward. So, you know, that's a thing. But, thank you for the hydration there, Tom. But this is the thing that, like, God says, right? This is the thing that God's throwing down. Oh, thank you for the stretch, too. He's throwing down that he is the form of stability. And now he's going to look at it as the stability in the form of justice. It's not just a world climate of, like, the structures of the earth as far as creation itself, as nature itself. Now we're going to be having this dive into more the wicked, right? Because we see the wicked have been, like, animalistic. They're part of the chaos creature vibe. They are the ones who are listening to the chaos or are willing to dive into it and create their own chaos. Yeah, he's the one with stability. And so this is where verses 4 to 8, we're going to be chewing on a little bit more here and kind of working through what are these images that are going on here. Because some of it can be like, what the heck does that all mean? How does that connect? And even we're going to draw a hyperlink from Revelation on some of this. So be ready for that. Verse 4. I warn the proud. Stop your boasting. I told the wicked, don't raise your fist. Don't raise your fist in defiance at the heavens or speak with such arrogance. Okay, the I warned the proud is God talking, right? Like, God is like, all right, I told you, stop boasting in what you're doing. Stop, like, clenching and be like, oh, I can do better than God. I'm so much better than him. Like, look at me. Like, you know, like, kind of like you want to start a fight, right? And I get this image, right, of, like, a really small dude trying to pick a fight with a really big dude. You, like, visually, guys, working in your imagination, this is not meaning to be offensive, but it's almost like as if a little person decides to pick a fight with, like, the tallest Dutchman. Like, typically Dutch people are pretty tall. And I'm saying this because I've got nephews that are part Dutch, and holy snap, they are giants compared to me. Like, it's kind of crazy. Very good. Hobbit versus Bjorn is a very good connection there, Solomon. Like, tiny to what did you eat? Like, what's your breakfast like? Do you eat 15 chickens or something like that? Like, Peeps protein load or something like that. Like, it's like, why would a little dude pick a fight with a massive dude like that? And here God is showing up while he feels picked on. That's because you're a giant and I'm a dwarf, okay? So, like, we need to find a middle ground here, Wally. That's why. We gotta work this out together. But, oh, shoot. Wally, you're thrown down. I meant to say this earlier, but it's like when Peter took his eyes off Jesus and looked around at the world for even a second, he fell because he took his eyes off the rock. Oh my goodness. Like, Wally, yes. Like, that's the peace and stability that God creates and the focus on him, right? If we can keep our eyes focused on that, it's not to say it's the best environment that you could ever be in. Like, you're still going to go through hard times because, that's where Jesus went to as well. But with him, you have security that A, you are not alone, B, that the results are going to be in your favor because you are following him, and he always wins. God always wins. Truth and justice always win in the end. And so, like, this is kind of the premise that's being thrown down, is like God's throwing at evil like, yo, I warned you. I've told you. Stop. Stop boasting. Stop throwing fists like as if you can do something. It's like an ant fighting with a person. It just doesn't work. It's ridiculous. So don't do it. It's just absolutely wrong answer. Nuh-uh. Uno reverse card. Stop it. Verse 6. For no one on earth from east or west, so all the way opposite directions, or even from the wilderness into the very chaos nature itself, should raise a defiant fist. Ooh. No one should do that. Or should lift a defiant fist. You shouldn't even, don't toy with it. No matter where you're from, no matter what kind of background's going on, don't push it. Don't be like, I'm better than you. I feel like that's not even just centered only on God, but like to other people. Like, I'm gonna do my own, I'm gonna push you back kind of stuff. It's like, no. Bad life choice, people. Go home and rethink your life, as Obi-Wan would say. You want to go home and rethink your life. Jedi hand gesture included. But it is God alone who judges. It's God alone who judges. He decides who will rise and who will fall. It's not in our strength, because in our strength then we are not using it properly. If we are given an opportunity for us to flex our own strength, we tend to abuse it. And Heather and I know Heather and I have talked about this, like on the very basis of like what our natural response is, or some Christian circles call it our flesh, right? Your body response, your natural response to things can be like, if I get power, then I'm going to use it my way. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to figure it out for... Yeah, instinct is a good word there, Heather. That's very good. Thank you. It's just how you go, right? And I was working on this with my son the other day on how there are some things that we naturally do that we don't see as a problem, or we just do it and we just go, well, that's just what I do. It's like, that doesn't work though. Like, that's not helping you in your situation right now, right? Like, so my son has developed a little bit of a habit where when we get into a disagreement, he just keeps on feeding out things that aren't helping him. Like, he can start using bad tone. He can really kind of push a rude vibe on him, and even like starts to get in insult mode because he just doesn't like what's going on. And sometimes he's got to learn that, well, no, like, this is just what's decided. This is what we're doing, and you're gonna have to go with the flow, kid. You have to kind of go and listen to your parents, right? Like, this is God going, hey, who's really in charge here? It's God. And I've appreciated Adam Paul. In our Discord server, he's known as DC Marvel. Adam Paul brought back a few years ago this image of when you read Revelation, and I'm bringing this up because we're going to read a segment that sounds very much like Revelation. He brought up a great point on how when Jesus comes, it talks about how he's this white rider. He's like magnificently looking, and his cloak is dipped in blood, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. But like, he comes in, and this is like the big battle, the one that's gonna end evil, destroy it all. He's gonna wreck the big Antichrist, the devil, all of it. Period. Check it out. It's Revelation 19. It's absolutely nuts. When you're reading it, you'll also notice that there's two kind of camps of people. There's the people that are behind Jesus, which are, by the way, all the saints, all the people that are following Jesus, and they don't move. They don't go in for the fight. They're watching Jesus deal with this. This is why when it says God alone who judges, hi, hello. Yeah, that's him. God alone judges. God's doing the work. So there's the people that are behind him, and then the people in front of him, which are the ones that are raising their fists. They're defiant. They're like, heck with you, Jesus. Heck with you, God. Kind of stuff like that. And guess who's eating it? Like, who's getting wrecked? Who's getting destroyed? It's the ones that raise their fists at God. They're the ones who are like, right? They're the ones who are pushing back because they're not listening to God. They're not following his guidance or his direction. And that's a hard call out here, guys. That's the hard call out here. Because if you find here in the Psalm, the security goes to the one who listens to God. They are the ones who aren't wicked. They are the ones who don't plan for evil. They are the ones who are willing to sit with it. We need to do a study sometime in Discord. That'd be great sometime, Rabbi. The hard part is scheduling that. We'll have to figure that out. But I want to pose this thought, and this is kind of where it comes to here, right? Like, we're going to, in the latter verses, you'll see the difference here. It's more like, which side do you want to be on? do you want to be facing right in front of this judgment moment, or do you want to be alongside where you are not having to go face to face against that judgment, but you're giving grace and you are the one who's backing Jesus up, even though he doesn't need a backup? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a throwdown here. He decides who will rise, who will fall. Verse 8. For the Lord holds a cup in his hand that is full of foaming wine mixed with spices. He pours out the wine in judgment, and all the wicked must drink it, draining it to the dregs. Rabbi, I'd like your input on the significance of the cup as far as Old Testament vibe goes on for that. I know where I see this going on New Testament wise. This is why I alluded to Revelation, because there are ones that are going on. There's images that are going on in Revelation that talks about bowls of wine that are being poured out, and it's poured out in judgment. And this is very much like the language that's being used here is the stuff that's used later on by Revelation for that. They're making this connection point here. Oh, have a good one, Heather. Thanks for joining the stream. Hope you have an awesome time at work. Sorry, yes, Rabbi. Psalm 75 is particularly verse 8 that's talking about the cups that are in his hand that are foaming with mixed with wine, mixed with spices, and how they are like cups that are used in judgment. I've heard this before as kind of like, this is a cup that you've kind of asked for, and so you must drink of it, kind of stuff like that. And I don't know if I'm getting this right. You can tell me that too, but the wicked must drink it and draining it to the dregs. Almost kind of like when Moses came down from Sinai and he sees the Israelites just like going nuts over the golden calf. So what does he do? He smashes the 10 Commandments and like he makes them drink brutal water, or no, he destroys the idol and then makes them drink the same water that this idol and stuff like that came out of, and it was a cup of judgment kind of thing like that. I'm trying to remember specifically on that one, but there was a point where Moses forces Israel to drink their own judgment and stuff like that. And I've seen that in other contexts of like when God's pouring out judgment. I can see that as like the flood waters. That's kind of like that. This is like something that you brought on yourself as a form of judgment, stuff like that. Okay, Rabbi's throwing it down. Wine is deliverance and redemption, joy, but also judgment and wrath. The reason for this is wine is covenantal. Okay. And covenants contain blessings and curses. It just depends on the approach. Interesting. Okay. So in this way, it could have been like, I could have made like a covenant with these people, but they chose judgment instead, kind of stuff like that, that they kind of went against the covenant. And so now, because of that, they are taking the judgment that comes out of that. Would that be a more accurate idea there, Rabbi? I just want to understand from an Old Testament perspective on this, because I know I could see in New Testament this really is brought to a different level with that prophetic image of these 7 bowls that were filled with the wine of God's wrath. Like it's absolutely nuts. Similarly, God is light, but to the righteous, he's a healing light. To the wicked, he's a consuming fire. Both are lights, but it's how one approaches God that they feel a different effect. Right. Which side of that fight are you, right? It's still the same one person, but depending on which side or connection you have with him, you're going to experience a different way. Okay, so that's good. Okay. I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page on that one there, Rabbi. Thank you for that. And so, like, verses 4 to 8 really are just kind of interesting because it's like God's direct call out of like, I told you to stop. I told you to not raise your fists, and you still chose to do this. So now there is this consequence. Now I'm going to like bring you low, and you're just going to deal with it. It's almost like you made your bed, now you got to sleep in it too, kind of stuff like that. Harsh reality hitting on true authority. And so then we're here at verses 9 and 10. And you're getting that preview of like, oh snap, like we don't mess with God here. Like, sheesh, throwing down hard. He's going to like kick butt and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, don't mess around with him. It's not good. And so Asaph here is like, but as for me, I will always proclaim what God has done. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. Okay, so in seeing this, he's like, yeah, no, I'm praising God. Like, God shows up. God is faithful. It's choosing the stability instead of the chaos move, right? The opportunity to look at what God has done, that he is, yes, a God who can be loving, but he can also throw down the swift hammer of justice, right? The like gavel of like, look, this is how it's going down. And he's willing to embrace that. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob, which is interesting. Like he's referring to the God of Jacob. He's not focusing to the God of Israel. The God that, Rabbi, maybe I'm gonna botch this up, but I see this, Rabbi, because we've been talking on significance of certain words. Why not God of Israel? He's saying God of Jacob. God of Jacob, that I see it as kind of like this potential. We sing praises to the God of Jacob, to the one who saw potential in Jacob himself, that we can grow to be the sons of Israel. That he is the God of Israel. He is the one who is God of the people that he has chosen, and that we can be part of that, and we can be responding in that way. But thank goodness he is the God who saw the potential in Jacob, the one who is still broken, the one who is still messed up, who still needed stability in his life. That's, at least that's where I take it. Maybe I'm reading way too hardcore at it, but that's a lesson that I would gain out of that. In verse 10, for God says, who? I will break the strength of the wicked. Oh, right? I will break the strength of the wicked, but I will increase the power of the godly. It tips the scale, right? Because how do you get ahead? You usurp somebody of their power. You abuse your own power to get more power. And here God's going, no, that's not how it's going to go. I will break the strength of the wicked. All the things that they did to acquire strength, no, we're going to wreck that. We're going to flip it on its head. It's going to suck. Going to eat a lot of humble pie. It's not good. But I will increase the power of the godly, the ones who remain humble, who are realizing their authority that is really only based on God, who's the ultimate authority. Anything that they have is a blessing from God. Anything that they are given is a blessing from God. And I'm going to increase their power. They are faithful. They are willing to realize who is the one in charge. Yeah, I'm going to keep on loving on that. Not the people that try and steal for their own power, but to love on other people, to care other people, really demonstrating who I am. And I'm not saying me, Mike Wilson, but like we're demonstrating who God is and how we are compassionate and we are merciful, slow to anger, filled with unfailing love and faithfulness, right? Like if we are demonstrating that, we are demonstrating the heart of God and the characters of God, then of course he's going to be like, oh, heck yes, like we're going to back that up. This is really like, this psalm is polarizing in some ways. And we kind of use that word polarizing a lot today, more so in a political realm. But in here, this is kind of like, which side do you want to be facing God on here? Like, do you want to be in front of God, facing his judgment, wrecking the chaos that you are throwing down? Like, if you're throwing down chaos, if you're kind of doing things for your own strength, for your own glory, for your own focus, you're creating chaos, because usually out of that kind of stuff, you are not treating people the right way, or you're not really acknowledging that God's the one who's brought those people around into your life and is blessing you with that opportunity, or has blessed you with those gifts, the capacity to do what you do. So you're just kind of like trying to develop your own system. Like, God, I got to figure it out. Or do you want to be on the side where you are acknowledging that God has given you a whole lot, right? Like the very first verse that we read. We thank you, O God, we give thanks because you are near. You are near. People everywhere tell of your wonderful deeds. Real power is with God. The real connection, peace, rest, stability, hope, growth is with God. Doesn't mean that we're going to have it all on easy street. No, we're not. And again, I point to Jesus didn't have an easy life. And he was following the directive of God. He was listening to God all throughout his life. He was doing the will of the Father. And so, if you're expecting an easy life, don't expect it. But know that it will be a life with meaning. It will be a life with legacy, because you're connected to the eternal God who himself has a legacy. And his legacy is to love on people, to invest in people, to help create order out of the chaos that we bring ourselves. I'd rather choose that. It's a hard choice at times, because sometimes, yeah, I would like it where, God, I want to do my thing. I want to be my own person. I want my own stuff. But it's way better, because it impacts the people around me in a really good way. It gives them a blessing. And I get to say I get to partner with God in that. That's pretty awesome. So guys, the level up challenge I want to throw down with here in Psalm 75. What side of God do you want to experience? What side of God do you want to experience? Do you want to experience this peace in the midst of chaos? Or do you want to experience the harsh bringing down judgment of said chaos? Do you want to experience this God who genuinely will fight for you? Who stands there in the midst of the chaos waters, who gives his hand to you, even when you stumble, even when you turn your eyes from him for a moment, still reaches out his hand to you. If you turn your eyes to him, he will respond. In fact, when you turn your eyes to him, you'll realize he's closer than you thought. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to meet him there? If you are, I don't care what your background is. I don't care whether you've been the scum of the scum of the scum of the scum. Because guess what? When Jesus was dying on the cross, there were two dudes with him. And they were both thieves. They were both not cool dudes. Guys that deserved to die. Jesus was the one that didn't. And on that cross, one of them decides to trash talk Jesus even harder. Which is like, dude, like you're seriously having the same fate as this guy. You're going to trash talk a really good dude? Bad move. Like, what is that? Versus the other guy who realized who Jesus was, that he was an innocent dude and he was still dying. They were wrecking him. And he's realizing, oh man, like this guy doesn't deserve this. He's not doing it because he deserves this. He's doing this because he wants to save us. Like it's a click for him. Like the guy that shouldn't get it gets it. And everyone else who should get it didn't get it. It was kind of crazy. And here's this beautiful moment where he's like, don't you realize we deserve death? But this man has been innocent. And he still turns to Jesus and goes, Jesus, will you remember me when you enter into your kingdom? Pretty simple thing, right? Pretty simple question. But with it, it's a trust that you're the one who's going to rectify things. You're the one who's saving us from our own mess up, our screw ups, our mess, like all the different kinds of things that are wrong. Oh boy. But in the midst of this, guys, Jesus looks at this guy and he says, you will join me in paradise. You will join me in paradise. This guy was willing to, in his last ditch effort, to come to Christ for help. And Christ didn't turn him away. So, I want to throw that to you. But, okay. Gotta step in here. We always judge people favorably. Stealing is not worthy of death in the Torah. He is convicted of stealing from Rome. Right. It was, yeah, I'm not saying that the thief was doomed to die off of the Jewish crew. The Jewish crew, like, the Jesus died because of what they called is that he was claiming that, in this case, it was like King of the Jews was what Rome made it capable of him getting the kind of punishment that they were supposed to do, but then they were not. Yeah, okay. But not by the Sanhedrin, which means his crime was against Rome, which could be tax evasion. We have no idea how righteous he was outside of that one crime. Right. And that, I'm not saying that that criminal may have been super righteous or stuff like that, but even just the willingness to turn to Jesus in that moment. That's more what I'm reflective on. I'm not talking about like backlog of history or any kind of stuff like that. We just know that those guys were stealing and likely stealing from Rome, kind of stuff like that. Things were not good, so they were dying. But the thing that I'm focusing on is he was willing to turn to Jesus. To realize who Jesus was, that he offered the opportunity for peace. And this is how we are needing to look at God. God is the one who can offer us peace, but we need to be able to turn to him for that. Stop raising our fists. Stop getting right ticked at him and throwing down and stuff like that. And we can be honest and share where we are at, but realizing where we are at with God is an important thing. Where the true authority lies. The true authority lies with God. We can either keep our eyes focused on him and follow his direction and look for his guidance, or we can keep on raising our fists. We can tell God where he can take his ideas. We can keep on trying to get power on our own. And ultimately, we see in the psalm, it just won't work out. So I want to offer that opportunity that if you want to have that kind of peace, if you want to have that kind of rest in mind, turn to Jesus. Tell him where you're at. Be honest with him. Tell him that I've tried to figure it out on my own. I've tried to do things on my own and it's not working. I need your help. I need your guidance. And I really want to encourage that opportunity is there all the time here. And if you want to chat on that, feel free to join in Discord. Throw it at me. Would love to have that chat. There's lots of other peeps that could do that too. But I want you to honestly take that opportunity to be able to know that there is a God who cares about you, who's there when you're ready to turn to him. When you're willing to, the word is repent, but turn toward him. Instead of going the opposite direction away from him, you can go toward him. And he is right there ready to embrace you, to love you, to care for you, and help you grow and keep on walking with him. So, got your back there, guys. Level up. Which way you want to go? You want to go with God or against him? Dang, that's a lot of stuff that's going on there. Oh, okay. This is a lot of detail here, Rabbi. I'm just gonna read it real quick. I just bring it up because because entire sermons have been built on making the thief who believed in Messiah out to be some insanely wicked person who deserves death, despite that he looked for the good in people, and despite the fact that he was aware of a coming Messiah and believed in him. But look at this wicked, evil man who is violating the laws of the righteous Roman government, but he saw Jesus and instantly changed everything about himself. It's likely he was paying for a sin against Rome, but it is very unlikely that seeing Jesus wasn't the catalyst of faith. No, 100%. That's fair. That's a fair rebuttal on that one, Rabbi. And I'm not saying he was a cold-hearted person. I think, though, when you are faced with reality of death, your brain can shift a little bit. And I think seeing how Jesus was able to respond and how he was being how he was treating or working through his own death, right? Like his heart was for other people. Like Jesus was praying for other people. He was reciting scripture, and that's what I find really intense, really interesting. Anywho, guys, now we're going to get to a part where we are doing a prayer request. If you got any prayer requests, please throw them into the chat. That big wall of text over there for those of you watching the stream, or those of you who are listening to the podcast. Feel free to throw down prayer requests in a comment. We do take that seriously. We do throw it down. And those of you who are part of our Discord community, you can throw down your prayer requests in our prayer support. We do read them, and we care about them, and we do pray for them. But we want to open that opportunity that we can be praying for you right here, right now. But we also can pray for you off the stream, off the episode, and know that your prayers are being prayed for. That one. Logic. All right. With that, sweet. Solomon could do with some prayer. I may have had a bit too much to drink last night, and promise God I'd do a 8-kilometer walk this month. Dang, dude. Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, man. Take it in stride, okay? Take it in stride. I'm not forcing you. And dude, you walk in miles in other people's shoes there, Solomon. So, praying for you still in some of the roughness that's gone on in life and stuff that you've been facing. Our heart goes to you, man. It really does. All right, let's pray. Let's hit this up. Father God, I thank you for this time where we've been able to read Psalm 75 and kind of put the question on, where are we in standing with you? How do we see you, God? Are we willing to praise you, acknowledge the strength that you have? You are the God of right timing for judgment, for bringing correction, for dealing with evil. That your wonders demonstrate that. Your power shows that you are the one in charge of everything. You are the one who holds the very fabric of this universe. Are we willing to do that, or do we want to keep on raising our fists and eventually realize we need to submit to that authority? And that means bringing justice on some stuff that we may have done to harm other people, to try and get power for ourselves. And it just doesn't work, because that's not the way you have designed things to be. It doesn't honor you. So God, help us to submit to that when we are looking at that we would go, God, I need you. I need to course correct and follow you. God, I pray that you would be with Solomon. Thank you for his heart for blessing us. Holy snap, man. Like, just blessing upon blessing. My goodness. Thank you for his heart to love on people. God, I just pray that you would give him rest, give him peace. Chemo has been kicking his butt, has been making things brutal. God, I pray for some relief from that. I pray for some peace in the midst of that. I pray that even with helping his folks out, that there would be something that all of a sudden makes it that it's easier for him, that he doesn't have to worry about taking care of this thing because his parents are able to do it now, or stuff like that. That you just be able to continue to work with him on that and give him strength each day. He's tired. Help him to rest well. Help him to rest deeply. And actually wake up with some more energy. Not just for his folks, but for himself. Touch his head, God, that he'd be free of these headaches that have been more recently hitting. That he'd be free of this pain. He'd be able to think clearly and have rest in it. God, I I pray for my family after this, time of mourning that's been going on, and how life just still doesn't feel like it's hitting right. And we can feel like we're just kind of in a fog. I know I'm in a fog. But I just pray specifically for my mom, that you'd be giving her peace in the midst of it, that she would be able to know that we are there for her, that we love her, and we care about her, and we're watching out for her. But I just, pray for that rest. And God, just be with us as we go about our days, that we would honor you and follow your lead. We ask this in your name. Amen. All right, crew. That is it for our live stream today. But there's going to be more. Tom will be coming on back for some video game-age goodness and stuff like that. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you, Solomon, for throwing down some of the blog posts that's been going on. Specifically, that one from Adam is a really good one. In the Lord I take refuge, or the Lord I take refuge. It's really cool. But yes, be back here. We'll be back probably in an hour or something like that with Tom's stream. It's going to be good. It's going to be fantastic. And we won't be on tomorrow morning. I got a staff meeting. Sorry, guys. I know. But we'll be back on Thursday at the Desk Edition with Wilson for another level up. So we go into Psalm 76. Should be a good read. Of course it's a good read. It's the Bible. It's fantastic. It's good stuff to chew on. Good wisdom to glean off of and to grow personally. But then also don't forget, Wednesday, you know what it is. It's a Nuggets of Wisdom stream day. But that's good. But be back here for Tom's Gaming with Tom. Because Gaming with Tom, it's fantastic. Who doesn't like watching Tom game? And, fight peeps in Overwatch 2. Because Overwatch 2 is a great game. It's fantastic. Anywho, guys, I'm going to stop rambling. Love you guys. Thank you for coming on out. And have a super awesome day. Later!